Brand new season, brand new dawn for Box. And it's lights out and away we go!
Simply lovely.
I was really enjoying that last
Well, the 2023 F1 season has officially come to an end. Heartbreaking, I know. But let's take a look at how the teams stacked up in 2023 and compared to 2022. Who improved? Who went backwards? It's inevitable. Starting off in number 10, we have Haas. Despite claiming that having rookies in their lineup was what was letting them down and that they needed more experience, they finished dead last at the bottom of the constructors table on a total of 12 points. And to be honest, I call that karma for what they did to Mick Schumacher, considering he scored an equal amount of points by himself last season. But anyway, I digress. I mean, they seemingly had a decent enough qualifying pace, but their race pace is what let them down, as well as tyre wear. They heat up too quickly, they wear through them too quickly. Not ideal in a race. Even so, they dropped 2 places in the constructors in comparison to 2022 season, and they scored 25 less points. Make of that what you will. At the end of the 2022 season, Mick Schumacher finished in 16th place for Haas on 12 points, while his teammate at the time, Kevin Magnussen, finished in 13th on 25. Justification for being dropped? You tell me. At the conclusion of the 2023 season, however, Mick's replacement in Nico Hülkenberg, who was rather cocky about his comeback at the beginning of the season, also managed to finish in 16th place with a total of 9 points. Go figure. While K-Mag dropped a total of 6 places for a P19 finish. Onto Alfa Romeo. Look, the team managed to score a collective 16 points across the season, and if that doesn't tell you how good their season was, I don't know how else to put it. They lacked pace, reliability, consistency, and overall just struggled in every facet of the sport to keep up with their competitors. But hey, they didn't come last. However, when you look at their 2022 season, it raises the question of how they have gone backwards so much, or if they just not developed adequately, considering at the conclusion of 2022, they finished on 55 points and equal 6th. And considering they haven't changed their driver lineup, it's either got to do with their implementation of a new team principle or lack of substantial development to the car. Either way, probably going to be something that the team will want to remedy as they head into 24 season, or they risk hitting rock bottom of the championship. At the end of the 2022 season, Zhou Guanyu finished on 6 points in an 18th position, while teammate Valtteri Bottas finished in 10th place on 49 points. At the conclusion of 2023, however, Zhou Guanyu once again finished on 6 points in an 18th position, while Valtteri dropped 5 places for a P15 finish on 10 points. So Valtteri dropped 39 points across the season, while Zhou was pretty consistent. Ultimately, not something that Alfa Romeo would want, and no team wants. Significant improvements will be needed going to the 2024 season. AlphaTauri. The team threw the absolute book at this car, but it wasn't until Danny Ric himself, he jumped in that seat, that their development really took off. They brought upgrades to even the final race of the season in an attempt to steal 7th spot from Williams, which is an incredible feat given that they were at the bottom of the championship until a mere few races ago, and ultimately bringing those upgrades helped them maintain their 8th place finish with 25 points. And they were up there challenging Williams for that 7th position for a significant period of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Had they made changes sooner, would things have been different? Probably, but I guess we'll never know. I mean, they did have a very unfortunate start to the season, but they managed to improve on their 2022 ranking by 1 spot, despite scoring 10 less points overall. At the end of the 2022 season, Yuki Tsunoda finished in 17th in the championship on 12 points, with his teammate Pierre Gasly at the time finishing the year in 14th and on 23 points. And here's where things get complicated. At the conclusion of 2023, Daniel Ricciardo finished on 6 points and in 17th position, which is not bad considering he competed in less than half the season. Yuki, however, finished in 14th position, so he's gained 3 positions. Good job for Yuki, on 17 points. Up 5 on last year, even better. But Nick de Vries, who was dropped midway through the season, didn't score a single point. While their reserve driver, Liam Lawson, who stepped in for 5 races for an injured Danny Ric, finished 20th in the championship on 2 points. So good job to Liam. Number 7, Williams. Incredible feat, considering, in spite of the fact they had one driver scoring the bulk of their points. Williams managed to achieve and maintain their 7th position with 28 points. Despite AlphaTauri throwing everything at them, in an attempt to outscore them. The result ultimately is a significant improvement in their 2022 performance, where they finished in 10th place on 8 points. So I think it's safe to say that the development on the Williams car has significantly improved. And I think that also comes down to the implementation of James Vowles as team principal. He worked at Mercedes. He knows what it takes to develop a good car and a great team. And ultimately taking that across to Williams has benefited. At the end of 2022 season, Albon finished in 19th place in the championship on a total of 4 points, while his teammate Nicholas Latifi finished in 20th position on 2. At the conclusion of the 2023 season, their rookie Logan Sargent finished with 1 point and 21st in the championship, while Alex finished in 13th. So making some moves there on 23 more than last year. I'd say that's pretty impressive. Alpine. The team had so much potential to do more this season, but the infighting, the crashes, their reliability issues ultimately cost them and saw the team end up in an uncontested 6th position on a total of 120 points, dropping 2 places in comparison to their 2022 season, where they finished 4th on 173 points. Their driver lineup for the 2023 season and beyond was of much contention, with many, including myself, wondering how the dynamic of the two Frenchmen would work, considering they haven't exactly been friends. And well, we know how that's worked out, despite their PR team's best efforts. At the end of the 2022 season, Ocon finished 8th in the Drivers' Championship on 92 points, with his teammate at the time, Fernando Alonso, finishing just behind him in 9th position on 81 points. At the conclusion of the 2023 season, Alpine's new recruit, Pierre Gasly, outscored his teammate, and he finished in 11th position on 62 points, while Ocon finished in 12th on 58. So overall, just a general decline in performance. Recruited, it's just not worked out. I think they will need to improve significantly before next season, given that they have a range of new investors, and if they're not getting a return on their investment, I don't see them being there long. Number 5, Aston Martin. At the beginning of the season, it seemed so promising for Aston, and they were seemingly the only ones who were going to be able to challenge Red Bull, but that went to the dog. Somewhere around Spain, I think, and well, they've ended up smack bang in the middle of the pack in 5th and on 280 points. Which is disappointing given that they were previously in P2. But they did, however, manage to gain 2 places on their 2022 performance, where they only managed to score a total of 55 points. At the end of the 2022 season, Sebastian Vettel finished in 12th position on 37 points, outscoring teammate Lance Stroll, who finished in 15th and on 18 points. At the conclusion of the 2023 season, the team's new recruit in Fernando Alonso, who got out of the disastrous Alpine show, finished in 4th on 206, while his teammate Lance Stroll finished in 10th on 74. So we know who the dead weight is at Aston Martin. Anywho, moving on. McLaren, number 4. Number 4 for Lando. Look, they had a horrific start to the season, and everyone, including me, thought this team were destined for the bottom of the table. But, thankfully, phenomenal turnaround. They managed to claw their way back. They managed to claw back the points to finish 4th on 302, beating the once second place Aston Martin, and gaining a position on their 2022 performance by 143 points. Incredible. In 2022, Lando finished in 7th position on 122 points, while his teammate at the time, Danny Rick, finished in 11th on 37. At the conclusion of the 2023 season, breakout rookie and honestly a great recruitment move, Oscar Piastri finished in 9th place on 97 points. That is not a rookie performance when you look at everyone else. But anyway, incredible. And Lando finished in 6th on 205. Overall improvement from Lando. Not a lot to go on from Oscar, but I'm not surprised. He killed it. Incredible. 3, Ferrari. Despite the team's best efforts to ruin this for themselves, they managed to wrap up the season challenging for P2 in the championship. Could have been P2 if it hadn't been for a few dodgy strategy calls along the way, particularly in Abu Dhabi, where they fell short by 3 points. But third on 406 points isn't a bad feat, but they did drop a position in comparison to 2022, and they scored 148 less points overall. In 2022, Charles Leclerc finished in 2nd place in the Drivers' Championship on 308 points, while Carlos finished in 5th on 246. At the end of 2023, Carlos finished in 7th on 200 points, and Charles finished in 5th on 206 points. It wasn't Ferrari's year, and it's sad because they keep doing it to themselves. But anyway, on to number 2, Mercedes. They managed to hang on to 2nd place in the Constructors. The battle came down to the wire, It wasn't easy. They finished the season on 409 points, gaining a position in comparison to 2022, getting the one up on Ferrari. But they also scored 106 points less than the previous season. Go figure. I guess Ferrari's downfall really was that bad. At the end of the 2022 season, George Russell managed to outscore his 7-time world champion teammate and finish the season on 275 points in 4th place, while Lewis finished in 6th on 240. In 2023, however, Lewis managed to reclaim his seniority at Mercedes and finished 3rd on 234 points, ahead of George, who finished in 8th on 175. So I think everything just sort of evened out there at Mercedes. George scored 100 less points, Lewis scored 6 points less. Good job, they finished P2. No one was really happy with the car. Hopefully they can remedy that. But, I mean, if the car's as bad as they say, how did they manage P2? Anyway, last but definitely not least, Red Bull Racing. Red Bull ended the season with the Constructors' Championship for the 2nd year in a row, with a grand total of 860 points, improving on their 2022 points haul by 101 points, which is just mind-boggling. Like, how is there more points for them to score? At the end of the 2022 season, as we know, Maxi Taxi finished at the top of the Drivers' Championship on 454 points, while his teammate, Sergio Perez, finished in 3rd on 305, being beaten to P2 by Charles Leclerc. What a time that was. At the conclusion of 2023, Maxi Taxi again wrapped up the Drivers' Championship, 507 points, while Checo finally managed to get one up on Charles and finish in P2 on 285. So ultimately, Max scored more, Checo scored less. Go figure on how that works. But congrats to them. They had a phenomenal year, record-breaking in every facet, especially Max. But yeah, that has been the 2023 comparison to 2022. And if that tells us anything about what we can expect next year, it's going to be close. Anyway, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow, all of the fun things. And I'll see you in the next one.